Hey everybody, Sharon here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Overwatch's Halloween Terror 2020 event, wrapping things up with the Shocking Surprise achievement. This one is going to be available anytime the Junkenstein challenge missions are going to be in the arcade. This one is the 6th and final challenge, Shocking Surprise. This one's going to be on the challenging side of things, so we're going to mix up the team a bit. We're going McCree, Soldier 76, Torbjorn, and Zenyatta for this. Make sure you start up the challenge. This one is going to be Junkenstein's Revenge on Expert difficulty. However, the gimmick this time around is every time you kill a Zombardier or a boss enemy, they are going to drop a shock tire from where you killed them. So I am going to recommend that you stick to a good old strategy. Make sure you pop the Soldier 76 up on the left lane. Make sure the Torbjorn is going to place their turret on the overturned cart at the far side of the bridge, and they're going to hold the middle. Zenyatta is going to throw up an Orb of Healing primarily on the Soldier 76, who's going to be taking the brunt of the damage, and Zenyatta and McCree are going to hang back and then pick people off from far away, with the Zenyatta throwing up the Orbs of Discord in order to weaken the enemies so you can get some easy one-shots. Remember, out of the two enemies, the enemy that is going to drop the shock tire is going to be the Zombardier. So every time someone kills a Zombardier, they are going to want to call out where they killed them. That way the entire team is going to be ready to take care of the shock tire that the Zombardier is going to drop. So this one can be a little hectic, but as long as you are aware of where the Zombardier kills are coming from, you should be prepared to hang back, and then hopefully you have a couple lines of defense in order to guard the door from the tire. In addition to the tires that get dropped for the Zombardier kills, you're going to have the scripted ones to worry about. It's going to follow the same scripting sequence as any run through Junkenstein's Revenge. So make sure you get the one at 6:51, which is the first one, and then you're going to have the second one at 6:33. These are going to be random, but as long as the person who's going to be in the back line, who should be the McCree or the Zenyatta, keeps an eye on the entire field, you should be able to predict these while trying to protect the door from the other tires. But try to micromanage both sets of tires, as if you're focused too much on one, the other ones may creep up on you. As things are going to get a little hectic, if the Torbjorn or the McCree end up taking too much damage, remember to call for the Zenyatta to pass the Orb of Healing on it to them. Soldier 76 is going to also be able to heal himself, so if the soldier doesn't need the health, the Zenyatta character should give it to the other two players, as they are going to have a real easy way of healing themselves. So make sure you do remind the Zenyatta player to give everyone heals when they need to, especially since they are probably pretty distracted trying to also deal with the multitude of tires. Once we get to 5 minutes 48, the Reaper is going to show up. I am going to strongly recommend that you try to pull the Reaper away from the door. So you want to make sure you try to pull the Reaper towards the Torbjorn player. The turret should help out with that. And what's going to happen is if the Reaper does end up going down, he's going to drop a tire. And you want to make sure you quickly react to this, as if you try to kill him too close to the door, the tire is going to drop and you're going to have a very short time to react to it. So try to pull the Reaper towards the Torbjorn and have the Torbjorn use his ultimate to try to take him out from really far away. The other three players are going to want to shoot him from a distance as well, and hopefully the Reaper ends up being finished off closer to where the Torbjorn is at the far side of the bridge. Once the Reaper goes down, you're going to have the triple random tire sequence. Make sure you try to manage these alongside the tires that get dropped from the Zombardiers. So you definitely want the McCree player to hang back and then try to have as big of a field as possible. If Soldier 76 can back up to the door as well, that should help. But you definitely want to make sure you try to juggle the random tires with the ones the Zombardiers drop. Things are going to be a little hectic, especially once the tires start overlapping with one another, so try your best to kill one Zombardier at a time, and then make sure you take out whatever tire it drops, and then you should be able to hold the door. You can also have the Torbjorn back up to the door if you are needing help with those tires. It's always going to be very important to deal with the tires here, as the door is going to be the big damage taker rather than the actual characters. And then just slowly whittle things down, and make sure someone's keeping an eye out on those random tires, as you don't want to be too distracted by the Zombardiers. If you are lucky, the tires are going to spawn where the Zombardiers are going to primarily be on the left side, so keep that in mind. Also, if you kill a Zombardier while he's still on the little ledge by the left side door, you can get tires that are going to fall between the middle and the leftmost lane, so make sure you call out for the left middle tires as well, as that's going to be a fourth lane that's going to be introduced in this mode. At 3 minutes and 53, you're going to have to deal with the Junkenstein's monster. So again, I'm going to recommend that you try to pull him away from the door. So make sure you try to pull him towards the Torbjorn's cart and then try to finish him off using Torbjorn's ultimate on the far side of the bridge. Make sure everyone else is dealing with the Zombardiers because you're going to get a bunch of them that appear. You definitely don't want the Roadhog to go down at the same time you're trying to manage 2 or 3 Zombardier tires. And do keep in mind there's going to be a random tire coming in at 3 minutes and 24. So try your best to micromanage those and keep an eye on things. Once things are cleared up a bit, you can finish off the Roadhog and make sure you get the tires that he drops.
What was that thing?
I'm trying to put it out of my mind.
The air became charged with the arcane as the summoner appeared.
Once you get to 2 minutes and 52, you're going to have the Symmetra come in. Torbjorn is definitely going to need to have his turret up on the overturned cart. That way the Symmetra is always going to end up being distracted by it in the middle. I'm going to recommend the McCree player move up and then save his ultimate for this part. Use McCree's ultimate on the Symmetra as she's distracted by the turret, and you should be able to take out more than half her health bar. Then the Torbjorn and the McCree are both going to gang up on her. Killing her by the cart is also going to ensure that the tire she drops is going to be able to be dealt with, as the McCree player can start backing up and then get it as he's trying to make his way back to the door. While this is going on, Soldier 76 and Zenyatta can keep an eye out on the right side for the tire that does show up at 2 minutes and 36. And then we're just going to run the timeout until we get to 1 minute 52, where we're going to have to deal with the Dr. Junkenstein. Reaper is also going to pop up shortly thereafter at 1 minute and 36. I'm going to recommend that you try to take care of the Reaper first. The reason for that is you want to try to pull the Reaper away from the door. As Junkenstein isn't going to be able to move from his perch, you are able to deal with his tire a lot easier. So be very careful on this part. You are going to be under very heavy fire, especially if you stay near the door between the Junkenstein grenades, and especially once the Reaper pops in. If you get into a pinch, make sure you have the Symmetra player throw up their ultimate to give everyone a little bit of invincibility during this point, but make sure you try to pull that Reaper away from the door, make sure you try to finish him off swiftly, and then also get the tire that he immediately drops. So make sure you take care of that, and then everyone is going to be able to have an easier time of moving on the Junkenstein.
Keep him off that door.
The soldiers struck out the Reaper and hoped that it would be for the last time.
In the midst of all the chaos, don't forget the quick 2 tires from both sides. First one's going to be on the left at 49 seconds. Second one really quickly after that from the right at 47 seconds. So make sure the group knows that the double tires are coming and to watch out for them, in addition to the tires being dropped by the Zombardiers, obviously. Third Reaper is going to pop in at 33 seconds. You definitely want to have the McCree start working on getting his ultimate, as you are going to need it for the final wave of bosses. And everyone else is going to try to work on the Reaper. So Reaper is going to pop in. Again, I recommend pulling him away from the door. A good old Symmetra ultimate is going to help out if things start to get really messy. But McCree is going to definitely want to handle the zombies, as everyone else is going to struggle to try to take out the Reaper. Once he's dealt with, you definitely want the McCree player to make his way up to the ledge on the left lane, and then you want to make sure that the left lane is as clear as it can be from Zombardiers. So make sure the other 3 players are making sure they clear out the left lane, and then making sure they also take care of the tires these Zombardiers drop. Once the McCree player is up here, he should be ultimate at the ready. You are going to want to use his ultimate and then try to fit all 3 of the boss characters in the ultimate. Your goal, obviously, is to try to deal as much damage to the Mercy, but a well-timed McCree ultimate will also deal a significant amount of damage to both the Roadhog and to the Junkenstein. Roadhog is going to be taken down to half, and the Junkenstein is going to be on the verge of dying. McCree is going to stay up there and try to pick off the Junkenstein as best as he can. If you are running into too much trouble, make sure you get back to the door, and then Soldier 76 or Zenyatta can pick up the McCree, and then Torbjorn can also use his ultimate to deal a significant amount of damage to the Roadhog. Try to take out the Junkenstein first, as again, since he's going to be far away and can't move up, you're going to have more time to deal with the tire that he drops. If you killed Roadhog too early and the door is really low, you might accidentally set off a tire too close to the door, and that might actually mess things up. So be a little careful of that. Make sure you prioritize what, depending on how the door is doing, and if you can manage whatever tire that the boss drops. So we are going to quickly try to move in, and we're going to stealth kill the Junkenstein, get the tires that he drops, and then make sure you quickly turn around. The last boss isn't going to drop any tires, thankfully, so we're just going to finish off the Roadhog, and that should wrap up the run. Very challenging, but with enough practice, you should be able to get that down. Once you get to the victory, you should be good for your achievement. 15 gamer score for this one, and that's all there is to it.